You are feeling the weight. You are feeling that sensation, difficult to explain, that something is about to be placed in your hands, and at the same time, the feeling that you don't know if you are ready to hold it. It is not money. It is not a position. It is not a promotion at work. It is something that came before money and that continues to exist after the money runs out. And you felt it this week more strongly than ever. I'm going to tell you exactly what is happening to you. I'm going to show you where this feeling comes from. And most importantly, I'm going to show you what you need to do now, today, so as not to lose what is being delivered. Because a transfer is taking place. It is not a financial transfer. It is a transfer of authority. And you have been positioned to receive it. Observe what has been happening in your life in the last few weeks. Older people, more experienced people, have been looking at you in a different way. You notice it. People who didn't see you before are now starting to seek you out. Conversations that seemed closed have opened up again. You have started to receive strange invitations, proposals that do not yet make complete sense, but that you feel you need to accept. At the same time, you are sleeping poorly. You wake up at 3 in the morning with a weight in your chest that is not an illness, it is responsibility. You feel that something big is being placed on your shoulders before you had authorized it. And that is exactly it. The authorization does not come from you. The authorization comes from above, and it is descending now. Before I continue, I want you to do one simple thing. Subscribe to this channel. This message that is reaching you is no coincidence. You were led here, and what comes in the next few minutes will change the way you see what is happening in your life. Subscribe, turn on the notification bell, because the next chapter of this journey will be delivered within a few days, and I don't want you to miss it. Now pay attention. I am going to present an image to you.
Attention, you need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life, a guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming, with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10,000 readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you who were tired of living in the fog. Ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment.
I want you to imagine a man. This man has accumulated everything the world calls success. He has buildings with his name on them. He has political influence. He has access to presidents, to heads of state, to commanders of large corporations. He has money that 3 generations of your family could not spend. And this man now, at the end of a season of his life, is looking at everything he has built and is reaching the same conclusion that many before him have reached. The conclusion is simple and devastating. None of this is, in the end, true authority. This man is a figure. It is a parable. I'm not telling you about a specific person you can look up in the newspaper. I am telling you about an archetype, an image that has repeated itself in the history of humanity since the most ancient times. And this image is teaching you something that your generation needs to understand with urgency. Money is a symptom. Institutional influence is a symptom. Public recognition is a symptom. But the source of these symptoms, real authority, is something else. It is invisible, and it is transferable. But it does not transfer to just anyone. It transfers to those who are qualified to receive it. And this is where the story becomes disturbing for you. Because you are starting to realize that you are being tested. You are being evaluated, not by your assets, not by your social position, not by your resume. You are being evaluated by the integrity of your intention. You are being evaluated by the clarity of the vision you have regarding something greater than yourself. And that is what is keeping you awake. There is a scene in the Bible that describes exactly what is happening to you. It is one of the densest, most meaning-laden scenes in all of humanity's spiritual literature. It is in 2 Kings, chapter 2. A prophet named Elias is reaching the end of his mission on earth. He was one of the most powerful prophets in the entire history of Israel. He challenged kings. He confronted pagan cults. He brought rain after 3.5 years of drought. He raised a boy from the dead. He was, in every sense of the word, a man of authority. And now Elias is about to be taken from this world. Not by common death, by direct withdrawal. A whirlwind is going to descend and take Elias out of the earthly plane. And while this is happening, there is a younger man walking beside him. The name of this man is Eliseo. Eliseo was a farmer. Eliseo was not from a priestly family. Eliseo had no formal religious training. Eliseo was plowing the land with 12 yoke of oxen when Elias passed by him and threw a piece of clothing, a mantle, over him. That gesture was the investiture. That gesture was the announcement. And Eliseo left the oxen, left the land, left his family, and followed Elias. The Hebrew word for this mantle is adoret. And this is where it gets interesting. The root of this word is linked to the concept of glory, of magnitude, of something that expands. The mantle was not just a piece of clothing. The mantle was the physical representation, the visible sign of the spiritual authority that belonged to Elias. When Elias threw the mantle over Eliseo, he was not giving him a garment to keep warm. He was giving him an operational principle. He was transferring to him the right to operate within an authority that came from a source higher than any earthly kingdom. And observe what happened next. When the whirlwind descended and took Elias, the mantle fell, and Eliseo picked up the mantle, and here is the detail that changed his life. Eliseo took the mantle, approached the Jordan River, and struck the waters with that mantle. And the river opened, the waters parted. Eliseo crossed on dry land, and the prophets who were watching from the other side said a phrase that should send chills down your spine. They said, "The spirit of Elias rested on Eliseo." The authority had been transferred, not the position, not the title, not the material goods, the real authority, the capacity to operate within a reality where rivers open. And this transfer happened because of two things. The first was the gesture from above. The initiative came from on high. The second was the correct position from below. Eliseo was plowing. Eliseo was in motion. Eliseo was not on a platform of visibility. He was not in a temple. He was in the field, doing the work that no one saw, being faithful in an apparently unimportant routine. And it was exactly there that the mantle fell. And that is where I want to ask you something. Where are you plowing? What is the apparently unimportant routine that you are maintaining right now, even without seeing the result? Because that is where the mantle will fall. It is not on the stage. It is not in the spotlight. It is in the field where you are being faithful when no one is looking. But I need to warn you about something. There is a trap in this transfer, and it is a trap that destroys 90% of the people who receive the mantle. I will show you this trap in a few minutes, but first I need to introduce you to a second character, because the transfer of authority does not happen in only one way. It happens in several ways, and you need to understand which one is happening to you. There is an entire book in the Bible dedicated to an absolute shift in power. It is the book of Esther. And within that book, there is a man named Mardochai. Mardochai was a Jew living in exile within the Persian Empire. He had no political position. He had no wealth. He was on the outside of the palace gates. And there was another man on the inside of the palace who had everything. His name was Haman. Haman was the second most powerful person in the entire empire. King Asuero had given Haman his own royal ring. The royal ring, in Hebrew called tabat, was not a decorative piece of jewelry. It was the key to the kingdom. When the king gave the ring to someone, he was granting the right to seal decrees in the name of the entire kingdom. Whoever held the ring had the power to sign laws, to move armies, to declare war, to save, and to condemn. The ring was the physical symbol of delegated authority. The word tabat comes from a root that means to seal, to mark, to leave an impression. Whoever had the ring imprinted their will onto the reality of the entire empire. And Haman had that ring. And Haman used that ring to sign a decree of extermination against Mardochai's people. Haman had everything. Haman had the ring, Haman had the access, Haman had the influence, and Haman used all of that to destroy innocent people. And it is at this moment that something extraordinary happens. King Asuero discovers what Haman is doing, and in a single night, in a single turn of events, Haman is executed, and the ring is taken from his hand, and the king calls for Mardochai, and he places the ring in Mardochai's hand. Do you understand what this means? Mardochai, who was on the outside, who was being persecuted, who had no office, who had no wealth, received overnight the ring to seal decrees over the entire empire. And Mardochai did not ask for the ring. Mardochai did not campaign for the ring. Mardochai did not accumulate resources to buy the ring. Mardochai was simply faithful to his identity, faithful to his people, faithful to his silent mission, and the ring was taken from the one who used it poorly and placed into the hands of the one who would use it well. And here is where your attention needs to double, because what is happening to you in this season has this mark. You are noticing that people who seemed untouchable are starting to fall. You are noticing that doors that were locked to you for years are starting to open without you forcing them. You are noticing that opportunities are coming to you before you even sought them. This is not a coincidence. This is the transfer of the ring. This is a relocation of authority that is happening on a plane that your eyes cannot see. And you are being positioned as the recipient. But, and here is the first serious warning, the ring only remains in the hands of those who receive it if that person does not try to use the ring for the same ends as the one who had it before. If Mardochai had used the ring for personal vengeance, to get rich, to accumulate for himself, the cycle would repeat. The ring would be taken from him as well. True authority only remains in hands that use it for a purpose greater than the person themselves. And that is exactly the test you are going through right now. If this word is reaching you with force, if you feel it is describing exactly what you have been living, leave a like on this video now. This simple gesture helps this content reach other people who are going through the same season as you. And it signals to me that I should continue bringing this type of deep content here to the channel. Leave a like, and let's continue. I need to bring this conversation down to the ground of your Brazilian reality now. Because everything I am telling you is not just an abstract spiritual conversation. There is a concrete fact about Brazil that you need to know. Studies conducted by Sebrae in partnership with Endeavor Brazil show that the absolute majority of Brazilian family businesses do not survive until the third generation. Pay attention to this data. FGV, the Fundação Getúlio Vargas, in research published in the context of its studies on governance and succession, points out that most Brazilian business families fail to carry out the transfer of authority between generations in a healthy way. The wealth is diluted, relationships are broken, the vision is lost. Why does this happen? The answer lies in studies on leadership transition, which identify that the central problem is not technical. It is not about legal structure. It is not about the division of shares. The central problem is that the first generation never knew how to transfer the principle that generated the success. They transferred the result, but they did not transfer the principle, and without the principle, the result does not sustain itself. And this, dear traveler, is exactly what is happening on the spiritual plane of your life right now. You are being offered the principle, not the result. You are being provided with the operational key, the deep understanding of how true authority manifests. And that is why you are feeling this weight, this discomfort, this sensation that something is asking to be organized within you. Researchers at Harvard Business School, in longitudinal studies on leadership succession in organizations, reached a conclusion that will impress you. The healthy transfer of authority depends much less on the heir's technical capacity and much more on three internal factors: integrity of intention, clarity of vision, willingness to serve before commanding. These three factors are not on a resume. These three factors are in the soul, and they are exactly the three factors you are being worked on to develop in this season. Yale University, in research published in journals such as Psychological Science, showed that adults from the age of 35 onwards go through a critical period of identity redefinition. It is a window in which the brain reorganizes the sense of purpose. It is a window in which the person is no longer seeking to prove their value through competitive performance, but begins to seek legacy, contribution, meaning. You are in that window now. And this window is the exact terrain where the transfer of spiritual authority happens. But before I hand you the concrete key, before I show you exactly what to do now, I need to introduce you to a third person. Because there is a type of transfer of authority that is the most subtle of all, and it is the one that most people miss due to inattention. This third person is called Tito. Tito is not a name much commented on in popular preaching. Tito did not perform spectacular miracles. Tito did not face armies. Tito did not cross the Red Sea. Tito was a discreet leader, a pastor of small churches, a man who received a direct letter from one of the greatest apostles in history, the Apostle Paulo. And in that letter, Paulo hands Tito something specific. Paulo hands Tito an authority, and Paulo uses in other letters of his a Greek word that describes exactly what was being handed over to Tito and other successors. The word is paratheke. This word is a technical term from the ancient world. It means a deposit, a delivery of something of the highest value into the custody of another person. When you gave a paratheke to someone, you were entrusting that person not with the ownership of the asset, but with the custody of the asset. The person who received the paratheke could not use the asset for themselves. They had to care for that asset as if it were a child. They had to protect that asset with their own life, because one day they would have to give an account of what they received. Paulo writes in one of his letters to Timoteo, and by extension to Tito, one of the densest sentences on the transfer of spiritual authority in Christian literature. He says, "Guard the good deposit that was entrusted to you." The original word is paratheke. Guard the paratheke. And this expression changes everything, because now the authority being transferred to you is not a property. It is not a possession. It is a deposit, and you are not the owner. You are the guardian. And this is the moment when most people lose the mantle, because people receive authority thinking that now they are the owners. People receive the ring thinking that now they are in charge. People receive influence thinking that now they can use that influence for their own ends. And the instant this mentality sets in, the paratheke is broken, the deposit is taken away, the authority is redirected to someone else, and the one who received it first is left empty, thinking they still have something but operating in a vacuum because the source has disconnected. I want you to stop at this moment and do one thing. I want you to go down to the comment section of this video and write a single word. The word is herdero, in capital letters, just that. This comment is not a detail. This comment is a declaration you are making to yourself, a marking in time, a confession of identity. You are declaring that you are willing to receive the paratheke not as an owner, but as a guardian. You are declaring that you have understood the principle. And I want to read your herdero in the comments, because each of these comments represents a soul that has come into alignment in this season. Write it now. And now the moment for the concrete key has arrived. I am going to tell you exactly what you need to do in the coming weeks to position yourself as a qualified recipient of this transfer of authority. These are not magic formulas. They are not rituals. They are internal postures and concrete actions that open the door. Pay close attention, because each of these points was extracted both from ancient biblical literature and from recent research in psychology and neuroscience on identity transition and mature leadership development. The first key is the renunciation of the competition paradigm. Take note. True authority is never won through competition. Eliseo did not compete with other prophets to receive the mantle of Elias. Mardocheo did not compete with Hamar for the king's ring. Tito did not compete with other pastors for the paratheke of Paulo. In all three cases, the authority was handed over by a higher source at a moment when the person was simply being faithful to their identity, to their calling, to their silent service. The HeartMath Institute, in studies on heart coherence and decision-making under pressure, points out that people in a state of chronic competition have their intuitive perception significantly reduced. Those who are competing do not see the real opportunities. Those who are competing miss the signs. You need, in this season, to leave the competitive posture and enter the posture of faithfulness to the inner calling. The second key is the development of clarity of intention. Research published in the journal Nature Human Behavior, one of the most respected scientific publications in the world, indicates that people who can clearly articulate the intention behind their actions have significantly higher success rates in career and purpose transitions. Clarity of intention is not a vague feeling of wanting to do good. It is a precise definition of the impact you want to generate, the lives you want to affect, the problem in the world you want to respond to. Without this clarity, even if you receive the paratheke, you will not know where to apply it, and it will slip through your fingers. The third key is the posture of the servant before the command. This is the point that separates those who retain authority from those who lose it. Studies published in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology and Research conducted by teams at Stanford University on transformational leadership show that leaders who serve before they command generate, in the long run, higher institutional returns, more loyal teams, and more lasting legacies than leaders who step into a position of direct command. On the spiritual plane, this is even more radical. You are invited to serve the purpose that is being delivered to you before you try to make that purpose serve you. The fourth key is the discernment of time. The Greek language has two words for time. One is chronos, chronological time, clock time, calendar time. The other is kairos, qualitative time, the right moment. The transfer of authority does not happen in chronos. The transfer of authority happens in kairos, and this means that you need to develop the sensitivity to recognize the moment. You will not force the transfer. You will not rush the transfer. You will be prepared when kairos arrives, and you will recognize it. Because when kairos arrives, it has an unmistakable mark. It brings with it a peace combined with an urgency, an inner certainty combined with an outer clarity. And it is at this intersection that you act. The fifth key is the integrity of memory, and this is the point that most people neglect. You need to remember where you came from. You need to remember your origins. You need to remember the people who served you when you had nothing. When Mardoku received the ring, the first thing he did was not to take revenge. The first thing he did was to protect his people. He remembered, and the remembrance guided the use of the ring. When you forget where you came from, the mantle becomes too heavy, and you begin to let go. If this content is touching you deeply, if you are feeling that these words are reaching places within you that no one else has reached, I want to ask you for something important. Share this video with someone. Think of a specific person who is going through a significant transition at this moment. It could be someone in your family. It could be a friend. It could be a co-worker. You know who it is. Send this video to that person. This gesture may be exactly the confirmation that this person needs to recognize what is being delivered to them as well. And now I reach the final point of this message. And it is a point that I must deliver with absolute honesty. You will not become an heir of spiritual authority overnight. You will not receive the paratheke in an instant of epiphany. The transfer is gradual. The transfer is progressive. The transfer has visible moments like the falling of the mantle upon Eliseo, but it also has long, invisible seasons in which the work is being done within you without anyone noticing. Eliseo, before striking the Jordan River and seeing the waters part, spent years serving Elias, years taking care of Elias's daily routine, years being a student before becoming a master. Mardoku, before receiving the ring, spent years sitting at the palace gate, observing, learning, keeping his identity firm, without mixing with the practices of the empire. Tito, before receiving the parateka from Paulo, spent years traveling with Paulo, being tested in difficult situations, being sent to problematic churches to resolve conflicts, being formed in high-pressure environments before authority was deposited in him. And you, at this moment, are exactly in this phase. You are in the field, plowing. You are at the gate.
Attention, you need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life, a guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming, with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10,000 readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you, who were tired of living in the fog, ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment.